What if achieving harmony between wellness and entrepreneurship starts with deliberate everyday actions that we take? I'm just trying to find balance. As much as creating my own job is exciting, it is exhausting too. I feel like we're Pathfinder too, because we're all in this life maze together, figuring out what works best for us. I have been thinking a lot about the idea of mindful mornings. Starting the day with intention really sets a positive tone for how everything flows and for everything that follows. I am not always consistent, but I do love beginning my day with a few minutes of some form of mindfulness, whether it's meditation, journaling, or just enjoying my morning tea or coffee. I do keep a junk journal to jot down every random thought, task, or idea because it's been a game changer for my ADHD brain. It's helping me to empty my mind and enjoy the flow of my morning. It's easy to get lost in ripping and running and trying to start your day, especially when I was working full time, even though remotely. I didn't really do a whole lot in my mornings, and the minute that went away, I realized that when I'm able to move slow in my mornings and go about it the way that I need to, things flow a lot better for me. So it's something that I've been realizing is a bigger impact than I thought. And I know that this isn't anything new to a lot of people, but it's one thing to think about it in theory of how it could work for yourself, but then putting it into actual practice is where things kind of start to shape up differently. Doing some of those things in the mornings has really changed how my flow is. As I'm thinking about that, I then think about the idea of scheduled breaks. It's so easy to get caught up in the hustle, but I have found that regular breaks can significantly boost my productivity and well-being. I'm really trying to set a timer to remind myself to step away from whatever I'm doing every 1 to 2 hours, because a 5-minute stretch or a quick walk on my walking pad can make a big difference. It is hard though when it comes up at the peak of my creative flow or the peak of my focus, but it is something that I'm striving to do every day. I'm also realizing the power of the investment of my desk, because switching between sitting and standing at my desk also helps me stay alert and focused. Taking these breaks have become something that I'm really trying to bring higher in my priority list when it comes to how I navigate my day, because I realize that I will be so heads down doing something, I'll look up and hours have gone by, and some of the things that I need just to function as a human, I've gone hours without doing. Even though I might have gotten a lot done, if I'm exhausted at the end of it, then what's the point? It's just a thing that kind of sticks out of my mind a lot of times. And it's something that I was doing when I was working for someone else. I started to think about even physical wellness. I realized you don't need a fancy gym membership. I would be lying if I didn't admit that when I had a Lifetime membership, I did enjoy it, because if you've ever been in a Lifetime gym, the elevated scenery and the gym aesthetic, it's next level. It's probably the only gym that I've gone to more consistently when I actually lived close to one. But since I'm not close to a gym and leaving the house is kind of a task for me, I just realized that simple exercises and stretches can be incorporated into my daily routine. I mentioned earlier that I use a treadmill or walking pad under my desk. I know a lot of people started using those during the pandemic, but it really has helped me to stay active, especially since I'm at home indefinitely now, especially with those scheduled breaks. I'm actually up to almost 2 miles per hour, which is pretty cool. Not able to edit and walk at the same time. That's next level, but Just the fact that I am still able to be productive helps. But I do find that if I can't really concentrate while I'm doing that, then I will watch some videos or catch up on a podcast or even watch a show really quick just to help distract me while I'm still walking. I'll even keep a pair of shoes at my desk corner because walking on these walking pads that don't have the arms or anything, in-house shoes, would not recommend. I did that, and because my house shoes are kind of big, the strain from trying to keep them on my feet while also walking hurts. It hurts. So I either will walk with socks on or use the shoes that I leave back there. I just don't want there to be any barriers to prevent me from actually doing it. Now I will say, if you're gonna invest in a walking pad, make sure it's not one that relies on an app on your phone in order for it to work. I didn't realize that the one that I got did that. And so even though it comes with a remote, if it's not connected to the app, which then connects it to Bluetooth or Wi-Fi, it won't work. But we make do. So now it kind of has me thinking about mental health check-ins. And those are really the biggest focus for me right now. Venturing into entrepreneurship is stressful. So it's crucial for me to regularly check in on my mental health. I monitor my anxiety, depression, and ADHD. And I've realized that sometimes a cuddle session with my dogs or my partner is all that I need, which is great. But in other moments, practicing techniques like deep breathing or even talking to my therapist has been absolutely essential. Self-care is a right, not a reward. And if I am not mentally there, then I can't expect to be able to physically do everything that I need to do. And I know we've all been there where we've kind of gone on autopilot. So making sure that I'm mentally checked in and present and addressing anything that comes up is important to me. A lot of my journey started with actually pursuing understanding my mental health and really understanding the way my brain works and ending up being diagnosed with adult ADHD and realizing that there were so many things that made sense and are now easier to do because I have the support that I need, whether that's through a person or through medication. I gotta make sure my head's right before I can do anything else. If mental health is my biggest focus, my biggest hurdle is definitely conscious eating. Figuring out what your body needs and providing that is key. As someone living with diabetes, this is always something in the back of my mind because that's what we're kind of taught is the focus of managing our condition is what we're consuming. However, with the added side effects of some of my medication, both for diabetes and my mental health, eating is hard. And those quick snacks are so tempting. But it's realizing by making these small shifts, like drinking water in the morning or eating my breakfast as distraction-free as possible, that can truly set a positive tone for the day. And by leaning into these things, when it comes to what I'm consuming, it helps me to ensure that I'm giving myself the best thing that I need in order to continue doing everything else. I've realized that small, consistent actions can lead to big changes. And so trying to eat as consciously and mindfully as I can is something that I really want to kind of circle back to because I was doing it pretty well for a while. It's what's helped me get, my A1C down to a 5.6 and to be able to start to live more instead of paying attention to every number that pops up on my CGM. It's still my hurdle because of just not physically having an appetite. And I want to make sure that Even if I'm not hungry all the time, I want to ensure that when I do eat, I'm giving myself something that's going to help my body optimize and do what it needs to do to help me keep going. And I don't want to slow myself down by having to fight more health issues because my body is trying to tell me that it needs something and I'm not giving it. These are just areas that I've been focusing on. I hope these reflections help you find a better balance in your life too. And, I would love it if you share your thoughts and strategies in the comments. I'm always interested in what others do to try to balance the stress and challenges of being an entrepreneur while maintaining their physical, mental, and spiritual health in a holistic way. Because that is all a balancing act. I'm not fully used to having to drive my own income and figure out ways to provide stability for myself. Any of those areas can take a nosedive, and sometimes all of them at once. And hey, if all else fails, there's always coffee. Lots and lots of coffee.